He thinks that's going to be a race to watch in 2018. Barack Obama taking his attacks on President Trump abroad, even on our nation's birthday. During a speech in Indonesia, the former president criticizing President Trump's decision to pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement, saying, quote, "In Paris, we came together around the most ambitious agreement in history to fight climate change, an agreement that, even with the temporary absence of American leadership, will still give our children a fighting chance." So if we can't keep our partisanship to ourselves, can we at least keep it on our shores? Here to debate is the founder of Bold.Global, Carrie Sheffield, and Fatima Omara, Democratic strategist and former president of Young Democrats of America. Good morning to you both. Carrie, we're going to start with you. What do you make of this?
Well, this is the Paris Climate Change Agreement. Barack Obama did not even have authority to enter into it. He couldn't get his own Republicans to sign this. It was unconstitutional for him to do this. So now for him to toot his own horn for an agreement that he had no authority to do, it's blatantly wrong. Not to mention, he's going around in general to Europe, telling them lies that sound great rather than uncomfortable truths. That's what Donald Trump represents. The fact of the matter is, since World War II, we have not had more refugees in this world, and that happened under Barack Obama's watch. So he's telling people a bunch of lies. He's telling NATO, you know what? You don't need to actually pay and pay your fair share. Barack Obama loves to talk about paying your fair share here in America, but he doesn't care about your foreign allies supposedly paying their fair share. Same thing in Syria and Iraq. He did not stand up against ISIS, and he basically allowed the creation of ISIS. So he can tell all these lies that he wants about, kumbaya, but it's not true.
Fatima, what is your response to that? That's a lot there, a lot to unpack.
Would be my first response. Listen, former President Barack Obama is an example of having a disagreement with somebody and not resorting to personal attacks, which is all that President Trump has been doing all this weekend, whether it be at media analysts or at a certain network that he does not like. And as you can remember, Twitter is seen overseas by a lot of people, almost close to 1 billion users or so. So, when we're talking about keeping partisan attacks over, on shores and not going overseas, it could definitely be applied to President Trump as well.
Fatima, I'm going to kick it on back to you with this question. Should the President Obama, in fact, be doing this in the first place, or should he just be golfing and letting President Trump take his 4, potentially 8 years and have his chance to run the country?
Well, I would, personally, if I was former president, I would definitely be enjoying a lot of vacations. And I think that that's actually what President Obama has been doing. I just read an article here on the, I think on the Fox News network that basically was criticizing actually the number of vacations he was taking. So I feel like, which one is it? Is he going to be a person who is still commenting and doing stuff for his foundation and because he has great relationships with with world leaders? Or is he going to be taking a lot of vacations? So, it can't be like either one and everybody has to criticize what he does.
How about he spends his post-presidency being a statesman, a uniter,
That's exactly what he's doing.
That's not. No, in 2004, Barack Obama said there are no red states and there are no blue states. And it's, my liberal friends will not admit that President Donald J. Trump is Barack Obama's legacy. For 8 years, Barack Obama tore this country apart. He ignored middle America. He did not care about where I'm from, the quote-unquote flyover states. He looked down his nose against rural America, against the common sense of this country. And now he's taking that hate overseas, and he's ashamed of our country, and that is so unfortunate.
Hate when you're talking about a difference on policy. This is exactly what's wrong with Trump and his followers.
No,
Continue, please.
I'm sorry, but you know what? It's wrong, and it's hateful to insult a sitting president when you're abroad. You're supposed to be a statesman.
You can disagree respectfully on policy, and that is what statesman's like is.
That
please
is not
continue,
the job of a foreign president, a former president. He's not in office anymore. Why didn't he follow?
No, he's not. But he was actually asked to speak because people respect him.
George W. Bush never did this to Barack Obama.
Last question.
Never did that. He was a statesman.
Fatima, then to you.
Last
question for Fatima. Should President Trump be supported by President Obama?
President Trump and President Obama don't really have a great relationship, and I think that absolutely goes back to the fact that he questioned his citizenship as a president in the country. So I think that they should have a great relationship. That's my opinion, but it's never been a great one as a basis of that having happened 8 years ago.
We got to run. We know what Carrie's response is going to be. Fatima, Carrie, thank you for being here.
George W. Bush was the model for what we need.
Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much.